So welcome to your yoga and mental health little mini session. So you're going to need a bolster or a few pillows that you can place on top of each other to kind of make a nice thick bolster, a block, and I think that's probably it. So let's start off with some myofascial release for the neck. So you're going to take your block, one of these little kind of bricky blocks, and you're going to set it on its medium height. So this would be low height, medium, this would be the highest height. So you're going to set it on its medium height, and we're going to place the back of the head on this top kind of flat surface. So you can just make yourself comfy, you can get rid of any hair, and you want to kind of make sure that the block is flat on the floor and the back of the head is resting on the top of the block. So you don't want the block on any angle or anything like that. But you'll find that the front corner here of the block is just going to be kind of cradling that occipital ledge where we have the cranium bones kind of finishing and the neck starting. So you can have your back nice and rested, makes a space between the shoulder blades. I like to have my feet in what I'd call constructive rest. I spread out the buttocks, make some room for my sacrum. You can have the feet apart and the knees gently touching each other. So the first thing to do is just to completely relax, and as you exhale, just allow the head to become really heavy on the block. So take a few deep breaths, and as you breathe out, just feel that you're really letting go and seeing how much weight you can drop into this block. And you'll probably find that as your head gets heavier, you're naturally applying a little bit of pressure here on the front corner of the block. The head starts getting heavier and you can feel the block holding the head, and the neck there just free to kind of waterfall down. So taking a few breaths here just to get that weight, just to feel that gentle effect of gravity pressing into the block, and you'll feel that front edge of the block starting to apply a little bit of compression there in that space where we get so much tightness, that occipital ridge. And once you've got that kind of letting go of the shoulders, letting go of the neck, the kind of weight of the head on the block, you can start to just very, very carefully and slowly move your head to one side until you can feel your ear touching the block, and then come back to center, and then very slowly move to the other side again until you can feel your ear touch the center. And I carry on like this, really slow movement, still making that head really, really heavy, very gently moving from side to side. And you might notice that one side is full of tension. Maybe both sides are. And you might notice particular areas, little spots, where there's more sensation. Now you don't want to go to a spot where it's intolerable sensation, but you could, as you start to familiarize yourself with these sensations, as you move your head from side to side, you could stop in one little area. As long as you can feel a tolerable kind of, we'd call it medium pressure, you could stop there and just compress in that area. Try to relax everything else, with the shoulders dropping. You can move your nose and make little circles with your nose, and that will kind of make a little circle around that area that you're compressing. And you might find one or two spots like this either side of the neck. And the action of turning your head from side to side becomes this kind of exploration. You're searching out those little spots. When you find them, you can either rest there, again, drop your weight into the block, let your neck and shoulders waterfall down away from the block, or you can make little circles with your nose. So just have a little play there, just going from side to side. Sometimes if there's a lot of tightness there, simply going from side to side very slowly is enough. Sometimes there's some really juicy bits you want to get into But what I'm not doing is looking for the strongest sensation and trying to kind of brace myself against it, because that's not going to really help. I want to find a medium sensation, do a little bit of circling, add a little bit of compression, and then release. And if you found a couple of spots either side, that's great. Bring the head back to center. Again, practice weighting down the head for a few breaths. As you breathe out, let the head become heavy. It's as if as you breathe out, everything's letting go. And then we're on the medium height now. Very carefully take hold of the block with both hands. Lift the head just enough that you can take the block down to the lowest setting. Take a couple of breaths here. As you breathe out, let the head drop into the block. Let the shoulders release, let the neck release. Really practice, connecting that exhale on the letting go. And then again, taking the block with both hands and lifting the head just enough that you can take the block out, and now you're back down onto the floor level. Now this can feel quite a lot after doing that little release in the neck. So if it's too much, you can always bring that block back. But if not, again, taking some breaths. As you breathe in, feel the belly expand, maybe into your hands. As you breathe out, feel the head just weight down into the earth. Again, breathe in, expand the belly into your hands. As you breathe out, let the shoulders, head and neck release. A couple more breaths like this. Very nice. And then just very gently roll onto your side. And try to use your hand to press yourself back up. And then grab your bolster to sit up on. Sitting up nice and tall, so you can straddle your bolster, you can sit cross-legged on your bolster, you can use a blanket or a block. So let's just do some release for the neck. So sitting up nice and tall, you can have the shoulders nice and broad, the elbows under the shoulders, just feeling into what you've just done. So take a few breaths here. Just noticing any effects of this practice. And then all we're going to do is we're going to breathe in with the head to center, and as we breathe out, we're going to just gently drop the chin down towards the chest. So keep the chest lifted, keep the broadness in the shoulders and collarbones. And as you breathe in, center the head. And as you breathe out, drop the chin down towards the chest. Breathing in, center the head. Breathing out, dropping the chin down to the chest. And this time you can just stay here and take a couple of breaths here. Breathe in, feel the belly expand, the chest lift, the collarbones broaden. And as you breathe out, just let the neck release a little bit more. See if you can make the head heavy. Feel there's a tiny bit of traction. Again, at that space where the neck meets the skull. The heaviness of the head weighting down with your exhale. And then next time you inhale, just gently center the head. And then you're going to drop one ear down towards one shoulder. So I'm taking my right ear to my right shoulder. It doesn't matter which way you do it. And I'm just going to let my head again become heavy with a few breaths. I love to connect the breath, especially to the exhale with the relaxation, with the gravity, with the heaviness. So I feel this little traction on the left side, so the opposite side. So I've taken my right ear to my right shoulder, so it's the left side that is feeling really open. And now I've got the option of making that a little bit stronger. So there's a few positions we can take here. We can press the hand away from us. We can roll the shoulder back and down and press the hand down. Or we can do any kind of combination. So you want to feel just a little tug on the tissues. You don't want to go to like the most intense. I'm not trying to really overdo this stretch, but I'm just trying to kind of maybe add a little bit of sweet sensation to what I'm feeling already in my neck. I'm just kind of bring it down the shoulder, maybe even down the forearm. The more I kind of flex my wrist here, I can make that stretch feel different in different areas. So back and down or out away from you. Roll the shoulder back and down wherever you are. And if it's too much, have the hand in your lap. And then to bring the head back to center, because it's been over to the side, we'll take the right hand to the right cheek. And I'm going to push my head back to center, so those muscles don't have to do any work. Take a deep breath in here, head to center. And then you can drop your head to the opposite side. So now left ear is going to my left shoulder. I'm going to take a few breaths here just to set my shoulders, to feel into gravity with my exhale. Really get into that kind of feeling with it. Inhale is like filling you up, and the exhale is just allowing you to sink. Not pressing into more of a stretch, but just allowing you to let go into gravity. And then I have the option of adding on to that stretch, rolling the shoulder back and down to the opposite side. So this is my right side hand moving out. I can go out, I can go back and down. Or I can go somewhere in between. Arm can be straight, arm can be bent. Just feeling maybe a little tug on the tissues running all the way down from the ear to the fingertips. Making a bit more space there. Again, I'm going to breathe in, expand the chest. And as I breathe out, just feel that I can let go, and I'm tractioning the neck, the head falling down and the hand stretching away. And then before I come up, I'll bring my hand back to my thigh. The opposite hand is going to press me back up. And then I'll drop my chin back to my chest. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. Just take a few deep breaths here. Again, breathing in, expanding through the front of the chest. Breathing out, allowing that head to be heavy. Just feeling a little bit of release at the back of the ears here. Maybe you're feeling that awareness of kind of letting those tissues that get so tight at the back of the neck go. And then gently centering the head. Okay, so now we're going to turn the head so the chin stays level. And I'm going to now take the opposite side hand behind me. So it can go behind and down, or it can be on my lower back. Or it might be able to stretch all the way. So if my chin's to my right side, my left hand's going all the way back to my right waist, where I could even take my hands together, maybe interlink the fingers, and just draw those elbows and shoulders back. And now I could maybe look up a little bit and down. So it's kind of like I'm stretching my chin forward and up. And then a little bit down, not too much, just feeling a little bit of a gentle tug again on the tissues as I move in position. Just to make a little bit of release in the front of the neck here. And then I'm going to keep my head still while I bring my hands back to my thighs. And then as I inhale, just let that head, it's almost like it rebounds back all by itself. And then I'll go to the other side, chin stays level with the floor. And then I've gone my chin to my left side, so I'll take my right hand back and down, or back of the hand on the lower back, or I might be able to bring it round, interlink the fingers. Wherever you are, draw that right shoulder back as you bring the chin to the left shoulder, towards the left shoulder. And then just moving the chin slightly up and down, not too much, slightly up and down as you stay in position. Feel a little gentle tug on the tissues in the front of the neck and the top of the chest there. And I'm going to hold my head still, bring my hands back to my thighs, and as I inhale, it's like my head just comes back to center all by itself. And then once more, I'm going to exhale, drop the chin down. Draw the shoulders up, back and down. Let the head fall. Take another deep breath into the chest. Inhale there. And as you exhale, just feeling that loosening around the tissues of the back of the head, the back of the neck, the top of the shoulders. The head letting go into gravity. And then centering the head. Very nice. If you need to stretch your legs out at this point, you could do that. Give the toes a wiggle. And then we can do some shoulder rolls. So hands on the shoulders, very simple circles with the elbows. So I'll connect this with the breath, definitely. Breathing in, I'll come together and up. Breathing out, I'll move the elbows back and down. And I'm just trying to move the shoulder blades as much as I can. Nice range of motion in my shoulders. But I can also feel ribs expanding, the upper arms working. Maybe even the upper spine. I could add the neck, slightly looking up as I breathe in, slightly looking down as I breathe out. And if this sparks a yawn or maybe even a bigger stretch, then so be it. And then let's go the other way. So breathing in, elbows back and up. Breathing out, elbows together and down. Just really feeling, opening up some of those spaces there. And then center the spine, center the shoulders, center the head. Take a deep breath and just feel the difference. Maybe we've kind of added on a bit more of the loosening up piece of the puzzle. So as you sit and breathe, maybe as well as feeling the neck's a little bit looser, maybe you can feel the upper spine, the lungs. See what you feel. Maybe you feel nothing, that's fine too, notice that. And then we'll come into cactus arms. So we're gonna have the elbows out, kind of shoulder height, but they could be a little bit lower, they could be higher, don't worry too much. I'm gonna draw my elbows back and draw my hands back. So I'm really opening the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other, and also dropping the shoulder blades, so not up here, gonna kind of keep my shoulders back. And I'm gonna just move, kind of twisting just slightly. I'm not looking for a big stretch. I'm gonna be moving the one elbow back and one elbow forward, but I'm gonna kind of think of my whole chest as one unit. And I'm gonna add on kind of some really deep breathing through the nose, in and out. So it's gonna look like this. I'm breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, like a pump. Now you can carry on, and if it makes you feel dizzy or uncomfortable or like it's just not for you, you can just breathe normally and keep moving the rib cage like this. So as much or as little of the breathing as you want. Now breathe in, stretch the arms up, maybe look up. And breathe out, bring the arms all the way out and down. And you can drop your head, bring your hands back onto your thighs, keep your shoulders back and down. And just feel it in there. Maybe that's got your heart rate a little bit up, maybe you can hear your heart beating. And then centering the head, again just a moment here, always giving the nervous system a chance to catch up, to see what you've done. So you can remember the responses and you can go looking for them later when you need them. Okay, so keep the bolster where it is, bring your block and just pop the block underneath the top of the bolster. So we're going to do a little bit of cat and cow first. We don't really need the bolster for this bit, but the bolster's going to be here for later. So I've got the block under the bolster. And you could also measure up for later. In a little bit, we're going to be flowing from a little bit of downward dog. And so we want the bolster somewhere where we can kind of rest the head on it. And then we'll have the bolster in position where we can rest the child. So I might even come a bit further forward so that when I come into my down dog, my head's resting on the upper part where I've lifted it up. And when I'm in my child pose, again, my head's resting on the upper part. So that's the kind of setup. So I've sort of got the bolster between my knees there, just the edge of the bolster. I'm going to start with some cat and cow. So as I breathe in, I'm going to drop my belly as if I'm reaching my belly towards the bolster. I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades towards each other. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to press my hands strongly into the floor, separate my collarbones, and turn my sitting bones back and up behind me. And then as I breathe out, I'm going to press my hands into the floor, pull my belly in, pull my lower ribs in, spread my shoulder blades, and bring my chin down to my chest. Then I'm going to release the belly, let the belly fall. Take a breath in, squeeze the shoulder blades, send the sitting bones back, look forward. Breathe out, press into the floor, pull the belly in, pull the lower ribs, spread the shoulder blades, chin tucks in. And then we'll do a few more of those. Inhale nice and slow. The slower the better, but if you need a few more breaths in each position, that's also fine. Or if you prefer to do it with your breath and this is just too slow, then make it a bit faster. And we're thinking about the spinal cord. So we've got the brain and the spinal cord forming the central nervous system. Spinal cord coming out the back of the head, down through the spaces inside the vertebrae, all the way to the base of the spine. And what we're doing here is just kind of wiggling and jiggling and making some movement in that spinal nerve. So this is going to wake up the nervous system. And as we do it with our breath, we're also calming down, slowing the breath down. So now we're going to make it a little bit harder. We're going to breathe in into our normal position. We're going to keep this position. As we breathe out, all I'm going to do is drop my chin and bring it into my chest. And then I'll breathe in back to my original position. And then I'll breathe out into my angry cat. I'm going to stay here with my spine. I'm going to breathe in, just look forward a little bit as I breathe in, and then breathe out. Bring the chin back into my chest, and then breathe into my normal cow. I'm going to stay here, breathe out, bring the chin down. So I'm just moving the top part of the spinal nerve. Breathe in back to the original position, and then breathe out to cow. Angry cat, sorry. Keep the shape with my spine, but look forward. Breathe in and then breathe out, chin back to the chest. And then breathe in, you're back to your regular cow. Hold the spine like this, move just the head down as you exhale and up as you inhale. And then last one, exhale your normal angry cat, rounding the spine. Keep the spine like this, look forward, just moving the neck portion of this spinal nerve. Inhale, look forward, exhale, chin to chest. And then back into your normal cow. Very nice. And now we'll tuck the toes under and we'll flow from this position, which is cow with the toes tucked under. We'll inhale. And as we exhale, press the hands into the floor, lift the sitting bones and rest the forehead on your bolster and exhale completely. And then you're going to inhale and come back to that angry, this cow. And you can then exhale, round the spine. Keep the toes tucked if you want to, if you want to stretch to your to your feet. Or you can untuck the toes and rest the forehead on the bolster. So it's this little flow. Inhaling, I'm going to come into my cow, toes tucked under. Exhale, I'm going to be in my down dog, resting my forehead, the space between my eyebrows on the bolster. Then inhale, I'll come back down. I like to keep my toes tucked, but it might be too much, or you might prefer to flatten out the feet. As you exhale, round the spine, press the hands into the floor, rest the forehead again. So let's go now. Inhale, exhale, inhale, round the spine and exhale. One more time, inhale. Very slow, kind of easy movements, hopefully. Not going to be too demanding of the body just yet. And this time, when you come down, you can stay down. So I might bring myself a little bit further forward, straddle my bolster, and even have my belly resting on the bolster there. And just bring my head to the side and rest. And you can take any props. You might want a blanket underneath your chest, underneath your ribs, or underneath your head to make this more comfortable. You might want to move your arms so you can really rest them. Find a place where the arms can just really let go. Might want to take the glasses off. You might want something in between your bottom and your heels. And if this is really not the right position for you, in terms of knees and hips and whatever might feel uncomfortable, then you can always lie on your back and hug your knees into your chest. And just notice the breath there. I've done a little bit of movement through the whole body with the breath, really flowing with the breath. And now just feeling the aftermath of that. We did the spinal nerve flossing as well, where we kind of did cat and cow, but we kind of moved the last piece, the neck piece of that spinal nerve, we kind of gave it a little floss as well. And making space for more breaths, all these kind of contributing to this hopefully feeling of calming the nervous system. Finding a bit of peace in the mind, perhaps. And if you've had your head onto the side, then turn your head to the other side. Continue to rest. And if you're on your back and your arms want to rest, just see if you can just hold the knees, hug the knees into the chest really minimally with like the most minimal effort for those hands. You could use a belt to kind of hold onto your legs, or you can have your feet, if you turn so that you're facing a wall, you just place your feet next to the wall, you can kind of hug your knees without having to hold them there. All different ways of holding this kind of position in different orientations. And now you're going to bring your hands underneath your shoulders and you're going to use them to push up. But what I want you to do is keep your head dropping down as you come up. So you're going to come up and then bring yourself, if it's comfortable to sit on your heels, you can sit on your heels, or you can sit on your bottom, you can always sit on your bolster, but your head's going to come up last. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is bring my bolster facing forward so I can straddle the bolster. Quite a comfy way to sit, but again you can sit any old way. Whenever we sit and we're using just the top half of the body, you can sit however, and we can even sit on a chair, it's no problem. So let's do a little bit of side bending, so just to open up the sides of the body, and again flexing that spinal nerve a little bit again. So if you're quite high up and you can't find the floor, you can always have a block either side of you to be able to kind of push into, instead of feeling that you're kind of collapsing onto the floor. But we'll be stretching side to side. So let's breathe in and bring both arms up. And as we breathe out, just go to one side, drop your hand down to the floor or to a block and just sink a little bit down into that hand. Not too much, you don't have to go very far. Roll the bottom shoulder back and down and just feel a stretch through that top side. So I've gone down to my right hand's on the floor, my right shoulder's rolling back. And on the left side, I'm letting the left sitting bone or left hip drop down to the floor as I reach the left fingertips up and away. Taking some deep breaths here, and I'm going to sink a little bit lower and then I'm going to press my hand back up to rebound as I inhale, coming up. And as I exhale, I'm going to go down and do that on the other side. I'm going to stay here for a few breaths while I just get used to this position. It might be different on one side. I'm onto the left hand now, so I'm going to roll the left shoulder back and down. Left elbow is slightly bent, or it could be straight, depends on how far you are down. Have your block close or far away. But that shoulder's rolling back and down. And then on my right side, I'm dropping my right hip and I'm reaching my right fingertips away. My head is just straight, really. I could drop my left ear down if that was more comfy, but I'm not kind of turning my head up or down. The head and the neck and the spine are in one line. Now I'm going to bend that elbow a little bit more so I can then press, rebound back up as I inhale. And then I'll do a few breaths as I exhale. I'm going to reach over, sink down and inhale, come up. So a little bit more free, fluid movement there. Use the sinking down to rebound up. And let that top hand be a little bit floppy now. You can even let it flop over the head. So again, go for sort of more minimum effort. Follow the breath, exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling and inhaling. And then let's stop on the left side. And now we're going to do a little bit more breathing. So come into a position that's comfortable. Maybe you want to let that top hand hang, grab your opposite ear. But come into just a very minimum side bend. And then we're going to add a little bit of breathing again. So we're going to do a little bit of a pumping breath. So a little bit of kind of version of Kapalabhati. I'm going to snap my belly in to breathe out through my nose, and then I'm going to relax my belly. So it looks like this. So instead of breathing in, I'm just relaxing my belly and the breath is drawn in. It's like a passive inhalation. But you might want to do what we did before, if it's easier, the inhale, exhale. And you can do it as slow or as fast as you want, or you can completely leave it. So if you want to join me in Kapalabhati, very minimal Kapalabhati. Now exhale completely and inhale, come back up. Exhale, go to the other side. And again, hold kind of a minimal version. And again, your breathing practice, you can hold and breathe deeply. You can do the Bastrika style. Or you can do the Kapalabhati. Exhale completely. And then inhale. Rebound up, stretch. And then exhale. Bring the hands down. Very good. And if you're comfortable to carry on sitting here, we're going to do a little bit of tapping. So you can feel free to change position. We're going to be sitting up. And we're going to do some tapping. So we start by tapping on the space between the eyebrows. That's your first point. You can do it with either hand. Some of the taps are with both hands. I have to take my glasses off for this. So that's the first position between the eyebrows. And then the top of the eyebrow. So you can do this with both hands. Just some gentle taps and then the outside of the eye socket, and then underneath, so kind of where the eye socket is underneath the eye. You can do that with both hands. I'm using my index and my middle fingers here. You can use 3 or you can use 1. I think 1's a bit pokey. 3 is quite nice. And then top of the lip, just one hand, then chin. These are the ends of meridians, and they, for some reason, unknown to Western psychology, they really help us with our mental health and help us to process trauma. And then underneath the collarbones, this is a nice one, it's a bit like Tarzan. And then we kind of do the just below the armpit. Again, you could do both hands, but it's easier just to do one hand. And you can tap with the flat of the hand here. So, quick recap between the eyebrows, top of the eyebrows, sides of the eye socket, bottom of the eye socket, top of the lip, chin, collarbones, and then just the side of the ribs. Good. And now take a deep breath. And what we can do is we can add phrases that kind of help us sit in experiences to be able to experience life as it is. So as you're tapping the space between your eyebrows, you can repeat after me or just say to yourself or just listen, this situation won't last forever. This situation won't last forever. This situation won't last forever. And then top of the eyebrows, I've already been through other painful experiences and survived. I've already been through other painful experiences and survived. I've already been through other painful experiences and survived. And then outside of the eye socket, my feelings make me uncomfortable, but I can accept them. My feelings make me uncomfortable, but I can accept them. My feelings make me uncomfortable, but I can accept them. And then under the eye socket, I can be anxious and still deal with my problems. I can be anxious and still deal with my problems. I can be anxious and still deal with my problems. Top of the lip. It's okay to feel sad, anxious, depressed, or afraid sometimes. It's okay to feel sad, anxious, depressed, and fearful sometimes. It's okay to feel sad, anxious, fearful, and depressed sometimes. Chin, I'm not in danger right now. I'm not in danger right now. I'm not in danger right now. And then just under the collarbones, top of the chest, my thoughts don't control my life. My thoughts don't control my life. My thoughts don't control my life. And then armpit area, I'm strong and I can deal with this. I am strong and I can deal with this. I am strong and I can deal with this. And then bring the hands down, take a deep breath. And I'd love to go through once more with one phrase for each of the points, and then with an with each of the points. So again, you can just listen or you can do it along with me. This situation won't last forever. I've already been through other painful experiences and survived. My feelings make me uncomfortable, but I can accept them. I can be anxious and still deal with my problems. It's okay to feel sad, anxious, depressed, and afraid sometimes. I'm not in danger right now. My thoughts don't control my life. I'm strong and I can deal with this. Om. 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 down, taking a deep breath. And then we'll try and do one long, smooth om. So like you want to make it so that the sound goes on for a long time. A nice, gentle but full deep inhale. And as you breathe out, really soft and sweet om. Trying to really prolong that exhale. And this will be the last part of the practice, and then we'll lie down for a little rest. So when you're ready, nice deep breath in. Just taking a moment to absorb what's been going on for you and your nervous system and your emotions up until now. Just having a look, when we know what's there, we can help and deal with what's there. So having a look at what is, without any judgment or comment. Maybe naming what's there, if that helps. Seeing what's there. And then let's prepare for a little bit of relaxation. So you can move the blocks. You might want to use the bolster under your knees if you want to, as a nice relaxation. And if you still have two blocks, I quite like to have them under my heels as well, so that's like the luxury version. If you're cold, cover yourself. I'm not cold at all. Come down onto your back if back lying is available to you. Many ways to practice deep relaxation. You can sit in the chair and have the back of the body supported. If your chair's by the wall, the back of the head can be supported. You can side lie if you're pregnant or have a bad back. You can practice side lying. Just make sure that you've got supports, maybe under your knees or between your knees, between your ankles. Maybe even hugging a giant pillow. Making sure you've got a pillow under your head if you're side lying, so that there's space for that bottom shoulder. And so getting yourself really comfortable so that you can offload some of the tension that you might use holding yourself up. So if you're sitting in a chair, really leaning back into the support of the back of the chair, leaning your head into the support of the wall. If you're side lying, really leaning into all your supports. If you're lying on your back, really feeling the connection with the back of the body and the earth. So practice leaning in, taking the support that you have provided yourself with. And this is really key as well, right, for keeping mental health healthy, is placing support networks around you and then being able to lean into them when you need to. Finding your anchors, and we have our anchors in different ways, but things that make you feel grounded, stable and secure. I think we find this a lot in yoga practice through kind of standing poses or connecting with the earth, or in deep relaxation from that feeling of gravity and letting go. We've been working on the exhalation a lot. And when we connect it all together, the exhale, the leaning into the support, the letting go, the feeling heavy, then we can start to allow ourselves to take the support that's around us, not so that we feel heavy, too lethargic, kind of depressed or feeling low, but just so that we can start to kind of lean into what might help us, so we can let go of some things that are too heavy. And then a brief body scan, becoming aware of the right foot and the right leg, and just seeing what sensations are there. Just becoming aware of any sensations in the right foot and the right leg. Having a nice look in to the right foot and the right leg. Just passively observing what is there. And then the left side, the left foot and the left leg. Becoming aware of any sensations there. And the left foot and the left leg. It's like your mind is swimming around in the left foot and the left leg, just having a look. And then bringing your awareness into your pelvis and your lower abdomen, the sacrum, the lower back, pelvic organs, just having a little look, observing what is there. Noticing sensations as they arise. Finding out what's there so we can help what's there. Moving up into the abdomen and the lower back. Noticing any sensations in the waist and the space between the ribs and the pelvis and the abdominal organs. Swimming around with your awareness, noticing what's there, and then moving up into the rib cage area, thoracic spine, the shoulder blades, the chest, the sternum, the collarbones, the vital organs contained within the cage of the ribs, the heart and the lungs, just listening in, swimming around, seeing what's there, noticing any sensations, emotions, thoughts that arise from your observation of this area. And down the shoulders, the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the palms, the fingers, the thumbs. Becoming aware of any sensations as we travel back from the fingers, the thumbs, the palms, the wrists, the forearms, the elbows, the upper arms, the armpits, the shoulders, and up into the neck. Observing any sensations in the neck, observing whether you can release or not release, whether there's tension, whether there's sensation, whether there's emotion, whether there's lack of sensation, lack of emotion. Noticing what's there, no judgment, no comment, and up into the skull, the face, the forehead, the space contained within the skull, the brain, melting into the cranium bones, observing the sensations that may be arising. All awareness flooding through the face, the skull, the brain. Moving the sensation through the head, the face, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth, down through the neck. From the neck we travel down the shoulders, arms, wrists, hands, and we travel back up the wrists, the elbows, the arms, shoulders, and down into the chest. Down from the chest to the abdomen. Down from the abdomen to the pelvis down through the buttocks and thighs and knees and shins and calves, and bringing the awareness to both feet at the same time, the soles of the feet. The soles of the feet as if they're open, awareness of sensation in the soles of the feet. And then taking a couple of deep breaths. Seeing if you can breathe in awareness in all of the whole body all at once, and not worrying if that is an impossible concept right now. And wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, stretching the body a little bit, yawning. Ooh, having a little stretch. And then bending at the knees, rolling onto your side. Maybe opening the eyes here, and then very gently bringing yourself back up. And I hope you have a really lovely day. Enjoy doing whatever you're doing for the rest of the day. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you.